What if I told you this planter isn't hand-carved? It's crafted. It started as the most ordinary terracotta pot, but with a few delicate clay flowers, a tiny perched bird, and layers of soft paint, something magical happened. By the end, it didn't look decorated, it looked discovered, like a forgotten piece in a vintage garden. Hello, my crafty friends. I'm Donna from Mason Creations, etc. And welcome to my channel. If you're ready, my friends, let's make a mess. This is just a plain, unfinished terracotta planter. I'm going to make it look really special today. I'll be adding a live plant that's going to require watering, so I'm going to need to make this planter waterproof. I'm using Polyvine Exterior Extreme Varnish in a satin finish. This is what's going to make your piece waterproof. This product is made for exterior use and extreme weather conditions. It's great on surfaces like wood, concrete, brick, etc. You can use this product for any projects that you intend to put outside, such as painted rocks or planters. It's waterproof, high chemical and high UV resistant, as well as drying ultra hard for great protection. However, don't allow your piece to sit submerged in standing water. I'm giving the entire planter, both inside and outside, 2 coats, letting each coat dry for an hour before adding the next coat. I'm going to make some air dry clay embellishments for the front of the planter. I don't want any moisture soaking through the pot, damaging any of those embellishments or the paint technique I'm going to add, so it's best to waterproof both the inside and the outside of the pot. This and all the products you're going to see me use today came from DecoupageNapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. For the saucer, I'm only waterproofing around the sides. I'm leaving the bottom unpainted. There may be some standing water in the bottom of the saucer, so it needs to breathe so it can dry out. My crafty friends Diane W. wanted to see some flower pot ideas, and Deborah G. from the UK wanted to see a terracotta pot. Here you go, ladies. This video is for you. I'm using my favorite, Doss clay, to make some embellishments for this project. Doss clay is so easy to work with, dries quickly, and has very little shrinkage or cracking when dry. It's perfect for making molded pieces. After pressing the clay into the mold, I'm scraping off the excess with my palette knife. Because you're watching this video today, DecoupageNapkins.com is going to give you a 10% discount on one order that's a minimum of at least $50. This is a one-time discount and is good on your entire order when you use the code MASON10 in all caps at checkout. So now you can get that mold you've been eyeing or some additional rice papers you've been wanting. Even if you've been ordering from them in the past, you can still take advantage of this one-time 10% discount when using the code above. I'll leave all this information for you in my description box below. To find my description box, click on the word more just below the title of this video. Now I'm smoothing the clay out with some water. Then I'll put them in the freezer for 20 minutes. Freezing the clay makes it rigid, so they just pop out of the mold easily. No fragile pieces will break off. Fresh out of the freezer, watch how easily these just pop out of the molds. No delicate little pieces will break off. They are frozen solid, so I'll need to let them thaw for a few minutes, but not in the mold. Make sure you remove them from the mold right away as soon as you take them out of the freezer. While they're thawing, I take that time to smooth out the edges and remove any little pieces of clay that shouldn't be there. While they're still somewhat frozen is a great time to do this. They're still hard, so touching them won't destroy all that beautiful detail. They do thaw quickly and will be ready to glue to your project within a few minutes. I'm going to use Aleene's tacky glue to add my molded clay to my piece. I need to add this while the clay is still wet so it'll conform to the piece as it dries. This is the best glue I've found for attaching wet clay. If any glue seeps out from under the clay, I'm removing it right away with a clean, damp brush. I'm also pressing down all the edges of the clay very delicately to make sure they're all connecting with the piece. DecoupageNapkins.com has an amazing selection of napkins, and the best part is that you can purchase them individually. They carry a wide range of craft supplies, including rice paper, paints, clay, molds, and an excellent selection of polyvine products. With thousands of items available and new products being added regularly, it's truly a one-stop shop for crafters. Orders are carefully packed and shipped quickly. You'll earn bonus points on orders over $100. Additional offers may vary and are often seasonal, so be sure to check their website. You'll find any promotions displayed in a banner at the top of their homepage. Subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address to receive 10% off your next order. This discount is separate from the Mason 10 code and may be used on an additional purchase. I'll leave links to all the products I use in the description box below. Please note that all offers are subject to change. To find my description box, click on the word "More" below the title of this video. So I'm going to let this dry overnight. I'm using paint appropriately named Terracotta. I'm painting it over the entire outside of the pot. I was hoping to just be able to paint the clay embellishments, but the color isn't exact, so I'm painting it all. For the inside of the pot, I just went down about 2 inches. I didn't do the whole inside, since it's going to be filled with soil. Where are you all watching from, my crafty friends? Let me know in the comments. I just love to see what cities and countries all my friends are watching from. I'm filming from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. When I'm painting 3D detail like this, I let my paint dry and then look at all angles. You'll be surprised at how many little white dots you find. I use a small paintbrush and catch all those little white spots. In most of my videos, you'll see me using a lot of different tools that make life so much easier. Things like a turquoise cup cradle to keep round objects from getting away, a bow dabra that makes bows in a snap, a water brush for separating rice paper and napkins, small art brushes for fine detail work, palette knives, and a rhinestone picker. If you're interested in checking out any of these items, you can find them listed in my description box below, in my favorite tools section. To find my description box, click on the word "More" just below the title of this video. And then I'll let that dry for about an hour. I'm adding some paint to my little plate and added some water to thin it out a little. I'm going to be adding a couple teaspoons of Pentart 3D powder to the paint, and it makes it very thick. I'm going to dab this on with a brush to create some really cool texture. I'm putting most of it on the background, but still adding a little over top of the embellishments. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. When you click the like button, a new hype button shows up. If you click that, you'll be able to send points to my channel. YouTube will then send this video out to more viewers. This is great for my channel. I appreciate you for doing that. You won't want to miss any of the new projects coming up, so don't forget to subscribe. I dabbed it on the outside and top edge of the saucer. I didn't put any on the inside as you wouldn't even be able to see it. And I'll let this dry for a couple hours. Look at all that cool texture. If you want more texture, just put it on a little thicker or add additional coats. I'm going to do some dry brushing to highlight all the details from the mold. I'm going to use Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Magnolia. It's a soft, warm white. I'm dipping just the tip of my brush into the paint. I'm wiping most of the paint off on a paper towel. You want your brush almost completely dry to get the proper effect. I'm skimming just the tip of my brush across the high points on the embellishment. You don't want the paint to go into any of the cracks or crevices, just lightly across the top. I'm dry brushing the entire pot so the whole thing looks worn. Any of the products I use in my videos are wonderful products that I personally believe in, so you can bet that each one is a great product. Everything I use will be listed in my description box below. Each one will have a blue link, so they're easy for you to find. Any links I provide are safe for you to click on. To find my description box, click on the word "More" just below the title of this video. I'm using a special paintbrush that is made by Polyvine specifically for their varnishes. It's wonderful and spreads the varnish out nicely, eliminating brush marks. I'm adding 2 more coats of the exterior extreme varnish to make sure all my paint and texture is waterproof and protected. I'm going to let it dry for an hour between each coat and another hour after the second coat. If you've been using Polyvine products, you're going to notice that they've changed all the labels and some of the product names. The heavy-duty wood varnish is now heavy-duty varnish, and the heavy-duty extreme varnish is now exterior extreme varnish. I hope you love and enjoy these products as much as I do. If the varnish starts to pool between the details of the mold, I'm wiping it off with a dry brush. If it dries, you'll be able to see the pooling. The exterior extreme varnish left my pot shiny, and I don't want to shine. I want it to have a matte finish so it looks old. Shiny just looks too new, and that's not for this pot. So I'm going to give this little terracotta pot one final coat using decorator's varnish in a dead flat finish. Why so many coats, you ask? In order to get the very best waterproofing protection, you need 3 coats of varnish. If you want your project to have a matte finish, you need to add 2 coats of the satin or gloss first, and then make the last coat the dead flat. All the special components that make this varnish so wonderful are more concentrated in the gloss and satin finishes. If you want, you can use exterior extreme in a dead flat finish for your final coat. I had the decorator's varnish on my shelf, so I used that one. It's water resistant, so it'll work just fine. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. I added a link to my new playlist of easy spring projects. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that playlist. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.